Vivek Ramaswamy. They say he's bought and paid for.
That's what everybody says, because he's too polished.
Is that right?
Thank you all for coming out tonight. We're just getting warmed up. We're going to open this up. Let's have a conversation. I want to hear from you. We're going to bring the microphones around. Thank you.
Well, you know what I said about him initially when he was on the stage for the debate. I had my opinions about, obviously, the fact that he's not going to win.
Yeah.
But why is he here? Now, Vivek Ramaswamy, he's a self-made billionaire, entrepreneur, and the Republican political newcomer looking to become the next president of the United States of America.
So he's like the modern Trump, minus the bankruptcy.
Somebody actually said that he kind of like went against Trump, and then now he's for Trump.
Well, when you realize that being against him hurts you with the Trump base, then you flip your standing and we're like, no, totally love him. So they'll love him too.
They say he's pre-selected, a political puppet, groomed at a young age to be inserted into political power to serve elitist interests.
Reverend Sharpton, hello, I'm Vivek, and I want to ask you, last week on the show we had Senator Kerry, and this week, and the week before we had Senator Edwards, and my question for you is, of all the Democratic candidates out there, why should I vote for the one with the least political experience?
Well, you shouldn't, because I have the most political experience. I got involved in the political movement when I was 12 years old, and I've been involved in social policy for the last 30 years. So don't confuse people that have a job with political experience.
With terms like Soros funded being tossed around, but does it even really matter? Does it even really matter if he is in fact bought and paid for?
All politicians are bought and paid for.
True, yeah. It's just who's buying it.
Yeah.
Who's buying them.
Yeah.
I don't think that anyone's giving his campaign any real chance of successfully winning the 2024 presidential election or even being selected as a Republican nominee. Granted, these old clips that have recently resurfaced certainly make this a little bit of a weird situation. And I think ultimately it's obviously going to have an impact on Vivek's, let's just call it, electability, especially in the Republican nomination process. But it's pretty much, it is what it is. It is what it is. Some people are going to believe that he's a plant, others won't. And obviously that'll hamper his ability to ever win the nomination as the Republican presidential candidate. And that's pretty much it. But what do you think?
I think...
Or what do you guys think? Comment down below. Let me know what you think.
Am I still thinking?
Yeah, what you got?
Okay, so I haven't followed the non-big player names enough to have a full-on opinion of any of them. I do know that watching the Republican debate, I did like the way Nikki Haley, that's her name, the way she held herself and up there with the crowd of boys, and she was like, screw y'all, I'm in this too.
Well, that's just girl power. That's your inner girl power.
It is the inner girl power coming out. But I liked the things that she had to say. I know she's part of South Carolina, and I haven't really followed her. I've heard her name numerous times, and I've seen her portrayed on Saturday Night Live skits, but... Vivek's
got a face and a voice, and it's almost like he's overpowering. So when he and her were going at it, he would overpower her. And his voice and his face and his smile is literally like him getting punched in the face.
Well, so
by everyone else in their rebuttals and arguments and debate, and he just keeps taking it and he doesn't stop.
Well, the problem I had with him is that he reminds me of a used car salesman with that fake smile that I can sell you whatever I want to sell you because I can talk the slickest game. That's what he reminded me of in the debate. So
but all of what he says is true. So I don't look at it as talking the slickest game. He just knows the most.
I agree, he does know a lot.
He knows a lot, but
the way it comes across to me felt...
He knows a lot, but when you ask him about foreign policy and essentially engaging in war, that's where things start to come off the rails a little bit.
That's the problem there.
But up next, we've got kidnappings and chaos in the streets, and the United States government is updating its travel warnings too. Plus, additional funding has just been approved. $51 million in funding to support migrants just passed. Man, Wouldn't it be nice to get a piece of that aid and financial support from our own government?
I was about to say, what did they? How much did they just pass to help?
You know, just passed for migrants. How much did Lahaina get?
I'm not sure.
A little over 100 million. A little more than double.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know. I know the residents get $700.
Of the 700.
No, 1.2 million.
1.2
million. 1.2 million. $700 per residence.
1.2 million?
Not per resident. Per residence, per household. And
they
each household,
51 million to the migrants,
yeah,
and they gave 1.2 to Lahaina?
Well, they gave billions and billions and billions to Ukraine, so there's that too. We're helping everybody but ourselves. But the problem here is with Lahaina, they're giving $700 per household, not per person, not per displaced person, not per anything else, but per household. And in Lahaina, whereas the majority Native Hawaiians, you have multi-generational living in these homes that have burned down. So you have grandma, mom, child,
yeah. So
and it's $700 for everybody in that home.
Somebody actually said yesterday, they go, you know, these children were heirs to the properties. Because
those properties are passed down generation to generation. And the problem here is, and it's a historic location, and the problem here is that literally right before the fires happened, July 29th, I believe, Governor Josh Green actually went through and changed the emergency declaration to, if there was an emergency, all historic rules and regulations are out the window. Also, and that's very convenient.
Supposedly 7 times more are missing than they have said. Supposedly.
So that's the issue there. People are throwing all the different numbers together, and I've talked about this a couple times. There are 2,000 children a year who go missing in Hawaii alone. There are a certain amount of children who are supposed to be registered for school. A lot of people have left. A lot of people have moved to different locations, and they're not updating. So you do have issues where the numbers of children registered to school don't add up. But if you go and look at the property sales and the people moving out, you can see where there have been people leaving the area and moving to other locations. So I think they're adding a bunch of numbers together to give it that scary feel.
Like the COVID numbers.
You like the COVID numbers.
Everybody, you know.
You got hit by a car and died. COVID killed him.
And then the other one
COVID.
was that, and Joe Biden, she's got it now.
I was going to talk about that later. So.
And then somebody posted a video on YouTube about all these roadblocks that they recorded, showing these roadblocks during the fires. But we'll talk more about that soon. And I know you're going to talk about it on your channel, Squirrel Tribe. So like I said, kidnappings and chaos in the streets, and the United States government is updating its travel warnings too. And yes, this is for you guys. I have received your emails. Thank you for sending them. And about the missing children, school buses, and underground tunnels in Maui. Again, Squirrel Tribe, you got to clean those sunglasses.
I know, they're so dirty.
Yeah, you got to clean those. For sure, check out Squirrel Tribe. And but this story is actually in regard to Haiti.
I figured it's either Haiti, Mexico, or Dominican Republic.
So the United States government has issued an updated travel warning for Haiti due to escalating kidnappings, street chaos, and security concerns. Yeah. As I'm doing my research this morning, I come across these stories. One of which being police making arrests in California, and apparently there's thousands of cameras watching people all the time. So you really can't commit a crime.
I mean, you can. They just let you go as long as it's under $1,000 worth of crime.
But then it's like some of this other stuff.
There's a price tag on crime.
You know, there's a story. It says father kills 16-year-old son, murders his son. There was another one. Brother murders sister, pregnant sister.
Mental illness is rampant.
I mean, I get it, but when it's like, when it's children and siblings, I don't get that. I don't get that.
Well, the kids are the ones who are neglected the most over the last couple of years, and the ones who are being brought up by TV and iPads and cell phones and stuff like that.
I saw one that says the kid killed his mom because she wouldn't give him his Xbox controller back.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got off track. It's kind of difficult sometimes to pull it all together because you have to sift through everything.
Yeah.
And some of these things I don't really want to talk about.
Yeah.
But it says that they're ordering non-emergency government personnel and their families to leave the country.
An urgent warning from the U.S. Embassy in Haiti, sending out this security alert late Wednesday that reads in part, quote, given the current security situation and infrastructure challenges, U.S. citizens in Haiti should depart Haiti as soon as possible via commercial or private transport. This comes a month after the State Department ordered non-emergency personnel and their families out of the country. Haiti has been reeling since the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse 2 years ago, which spurred an increase in kidnappings, unrest, and gang violence.
The situation on the ground in Haiti, particularly in the Port-au-Prince metropolitan region, which is the largest urban area of the country, has gotten much worse in the last few weeks. And
Paul Namphy of the Family Action Network movement names 2 particularly heinous incidences of recent bloodshed.
There was the massacre in Kofufe, where approximately 54 people lost their lives. And then 5 days ago, there was a procession where people in the neighborhood of Canaran, which is just north of the capital, Port-au-Prince, were led by a pastor into basically a procession against gang violence, and basically gang members machine gun them to death.
The embassy warning flights from the Caribbean nation are few and fill up fast.
And U.S. citizens who are not working for the government are also advised to depart as soon as possible. The situation in Haiti has deteriorated significantly, with families seeking refuge at the United States Embassy after being displaced by local gangs. Haiti has been without an elected leader since the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse 2 years ago, and a recent federal case in Miami highlighted the involvement of individuals in planning the assassination.
It's like a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio and the guy who used to be married to Kimora Lee.
It's crazy.
I can't think of his name.
Russell Simmons?
No, the other guy.
Oh.
She married after Russell Simmons.
It's crazy how they go 2 years without a president. It's like, what kind of structure does their government have where, you know, it's like we watched White House Down and they had, you know, continuation of government.
Well, a lot of these other countries, there is no continuation of government. That's the problem. It's supposed to be that one person until they die, and then they put somebody else in, but I don't think it always works out like that.
So needless to say, the Do Not Travel Advisory emphasizes the dangers of kidnapping, crime, civil unrest, and inadequate healthcare infrastructure in Haiti right now, all of which leading to the urging of U.S. citizens to leave the country using available transportation options while they are still available. The advisory also notes that kidnapping incidents, which may include U.S. citizens, are widespread, and victims' families have been forced to pay substantial ransoms for their release. The country of Haiti is experiencing what is being described as a staggering loss, and almost 800 cops in Haiti have just left the force, and rumors circulated that gangs were approaching certain neighborhoods in Haiti. Residents continue to flee their homes, which were being looted and set on fire by gangs openly roaming the streets. Residents, often riding behind motorcycle taxis, were seen carrying mattresses and important documents as they tried to find safety. That sounds like the boy that was on that documentary in Lahaina. He like showed you his backpack. He's like, I grabbed my diploma, some bottles of water, toothbrush, and just dip. Jumped in the ocean. The local faculty of human sciences closed its doors and relocated its valuable, non-digitized archives to a safer location, while concerns about the dwindling numbers of the Haitian police and their ability to control gang-related terror are growing, not only among UN officials, but also within the State Department. And this concern has led to the State Department's directive to withdraw non-emergency personnel and advise American citizens to leave Haiti as soon as possible. The Haitian Prime Minister Ariel Henry and foreign diplomats based in Port-au-Prince, is that right? Port-au-Prince, have pointed to a U.S. humanitarian parole program initiated by the Biden administration, which allows Haitians to migrate to the United States.
Convenient.
Yeah, Haitians are migrating. And
now, how do they determine which Haitians are the safe ones and which ones are the ones who are doing all the bad things?
It's a good question.
You bring in the wrong people.
It's a good question. And they argue that this program is, They argue that this program is enticing police officers to leave Haiti by the hundreds.
By the hundreds?
It's almost like it's going to be fast track more than likely. Like anybody who is going to leave, now it's going to be fast track where it's kind of like, maybe you shouldn't, but you can.
Yeah.
Because of the spark in violence and crime. Now, while the Department of Homeland Security has not disclosed the exact number of Haitian police officers who have entered the U.S. under this program, it has stated that approximately 63,000 Haitians have been vetted and approved for entry, with 50,000 having already done so. The escalating violence has taken a heavy toll, with the UN reporting that in the last 2 weeks alone, more than 70 people have been killed or injured in Port-au-Prince. And over the past 2 weeks, more than 10,000 people have been displaced, seeking refuge in over 20 spontaneous settlements or with host families. And that this year, the violence has resulted in more than 2,500 deaths and nearly 1,000 injuries. And a recent report from the UN Integrated Office in Haiti expressed deep concerns about the weakened state of the Haiti National Police, stating that it lacks the capacity to restore and maintain public order. And the report also highlighted the issue of gang control over police facilities, with around 40 out of 412 police premises nationwide remaining non-operational due to gang territorial dominance.
You know what's crazy, and it's just totally dumb, I'm sure, but one of my favorite movies ever, Clueless, with Alicia Silverstone. There's a part where she has to get up and do a debate on something, and she gets up and she's talking about Haiti, because even then, when that movie came out in like the 90s, Haiti was still having issues. It was,
you know, I don't know.
It's like an always.
I don't know why people would go. I don't know why you need an urgent warning for Americans to leave. Like, why would you go?
Well, I also don't understand why people were traveling to like right next to Lahaina to take pictures on the beach, Paris Hilton, during a fire.
Paris Hilton?
Paris Hilton. Her and her husband and her kid were posting Instagram selfies right next to Lahaina and talking about how gorgeous the water is and how much they needed the vacation. And I'm like, literally 15 miles away, you have dead bodies, missing children, missing people.
See, that's like when
homes.
they had all the riots going on, and you saw the narcissistic influencers going to take the pictures with their fake signs, and other people would record them, like after they're done posing,
and they just leave
trash on the street. So, moreover, there are persistent reports of alleged gang infiltration within the police ranks. Also,
that's not new.
The deteriorating situation led to the closure of several government offices and businesses near downtown Port-au-Prince as a result of the circulating rumors, leaving residents without communication and lacking support from the police or government. Sounds like here. So they continue to communicate. They just lie to you.
Yeah.
And then they're going to make sure that they can lie to you in bulk with this 10-4 national broadcast warning.
Oh yeah.
But then they changed it to it changed like
they're saying that September 24th or something. Oh, isn't that the day after we're supposed to go on lockdowns also? What are the odds on this timing?
So next we got more on international news.
Look how many chairs he's carrying.
And I've come across some significant news that hasn't received much mainstream media attention so far, at least I don't think. And it pertains to a new policy introduced by the Liberals, which north of the border, which they've attempted to quietly implement during the summer. And it seems as though this policy could have substantial consequences for your grocery expenses, choices, and availability. And odds are, I would expect to see this potentially entering into the United States.
Okay.
And in the midst of a food affordability crisis, one might expect the Liberals not to worsen the situation, but that does not seem to be the case. So the Liberal Environment Minister, Stephen Guilbeault, known for his Greenpeace activism, has proposed a set of regulations with far-reaching implications that every Canadian should be aware of. And regardless of your political affiliation, these regulations could impact your grocery bills if they proceed as planned. And just to put this into perspective, these regulations grant significant power to major grocery chains in Canada, and these companies, which already operate with limited competition, would be required to adhere to these regulations, restricting the types and quantities of packaging that they can use or sell. And consequently, these regulations would give them the authority to decide what products to stock on their shelves, potentially reducing the variety of brand name products available and driving up costs for store or generic brands. Additionally, these regulations could deter major brand name producers from entering the Canadian market due to packaging and labeling restrictions. And of course, this could further limit product choices and further increase prices up even higher.
Now, it could also give way for mom and pop stores and farmers markets and things to make a comeback and sell clean, non-modified, whatever foods. So you're talking about that. I actually took a screenshot on Instagram today. Groundbreaking move. Italy becomes the first country to ban the sale and production of lab-grown food. So that's interesting. I mean, the United States is literally the only country who allows...
We're pushing
Yeah, we're pushing these things. We're the only country that willingly tries to kill our residents with food.
Bill Gates is, you know, he wants people to eat synthetic beef and cultured lab-made chicken.
Yep.
And while, yes, environmental responsibility in packaging is essential, one would hope that the federal government could achieve this without empowering major grocery chains and burdening consumers during a grocery affordability crisis. Now, if I'm understanding this all correctly, the consultations on these regulations are still open, and it's going to be imperative, crucial, that Canadians make their voices heard. So, I will say that I ask you guys to subscribe to the channel, share this information so that you too can help spread awareness.
Especially to your Canadian friends.
Yes, and counter the potential censorship. Don't be afraid to voice your concerns about the impact of these regulations on your grocery choices and expenses, because if they have their way, the Liberals' new policy, if implemented, could grant more power to major grocery chains, reduce product choices, and increase costs for consumers during an already challenging time for grocery affordability. So it's essential to stay informed and take action to make your voices heard, and while consultations are happening. Now, we're going to cross over the pond, and I want to share with you the latest on the situation in Europe right now, with a particular focus on economic matters, and take a closer look and deep dive into the economic landscape of Central Europe, with a spotlight on Austrian news and some highlights from Germany too. First up, the current inflation rate in Austria, and currently the consumer price index stands at 7%, which is a slight improvement compared to a year ago when it was higher at 11.2%. However, we also need to consider other indicators like the micro blanket, which I'm not entirely certain about and its contents, but it likely consists of essential goods, possibly including food, similar to here, how our inflation doesn't include food and energy.
The two most expensive things we see right now.
Yeah. Food is crazy. Food is crazy.
It's ridiculous how expensive it is.
The grocery store is expensive, but eating out is more.
But what's crazy is, I know this is off topic, but what's crazy is because we do live in a tourist location, as soon as the tourist season starts, the cost of everything goes up. But then as soon as tourist season ends, we can go out to eat for a normal price again. The grocery stores have better deals, shorter lines, things like that. I think everything goes up because they have to add more staff during certain times. So they have to be able to pay everybody more, and the only way to do that is to, in their minds, raise the prices of everything.
I hear you. I hear you.
It's the same fish in October that it is in July, yet in October it's much cheaper.
It's like how they adjust your utility bill. So somebody left a comment and they said the utility bill went up over $100.
Yeah.
When normally it was like under 50.
I remember seeing that comment.
And it's like, and now, but this is it was a preset prepay like average. And they're like, well, it's never been over 50. Why am I paying 100? And the restaurants could do the same. It's like, you don't need to jack up the prices during the summer. You could just average it out and figure out what your cost is all the time.
Yeah. I guess the problem is figuring out what your cost is all the time is harder to do now when they keep saying, well, there's a shortage of this, so we're jacking up the price. Oh, well, there's a tariff on this, so we're jacking up the price. The tariff's been there for years and years and years. Nothing has changed. But you know. True.
And somebody had left a comment. They said, like, this whole Biden steel tariff is going to raise canned good prices by 25%.
So here's the thing. there's no raising prices. The tariff is still 25% on steel. It has been. He's just not taking it away. So there's no going up 25%. Also, your canned goods are in aluminum, just so we're all fully aware.
So the microbaskets inflation rate remains at 10%, highlighting that the impact of inflation varies across different sectors of the economy. So for example, certain products like natural gas have seen an 82% price increase, while diesel prices have actually dropped by 24%. And this demonstrates that inflation affects different sectors in distinct ways.
Now also, the natural gas price going up is because they really want to push everybody to electric and not use natural gas for anything. So they're going to make it so that mentally you go, man, it's too expensive to have this. I need to be over here. Especially because new builds, new homes, especially in New York, they've banned the use of gas at all in future builds from 2026 and on, unless you're like a commercial restaurant or a commercial spot. Residential places will not have any form of gas, natural gas, whatever, no propane, no nothing. You have to be all electric.
I saw a video yesterday and it was just crazy.
Knowing good and damn well the electric grid cannot handle all of that.
I saw this video and it showed this crazy like crashing waves like coming over this wall and like flooding this parking lot, right? And I didn't see any cars catching on fire. However, you showed me an EV coming out of Hurricane Idalia, the lithium batteries and water.
The salt water, not just regular water. The salt water is causing numerous electric vehicles to literally catch on fire because the batteries can't handle the salt water. So you can't charge your car if it's cold.
Because you got special marine batteries for boats.
You can't be near the shore if so. Is this a push to have everybody leave beaches and oceans because you know you're being pushed to only have EV?
Somebody mentioned in a comment and they were like, you know, make sure you have what you need to stay warm, like wood. And I'm thinking to myself, well,
sweatshirt.
If I just don't live in an area that has harsh winters, that is no longer a concern of mine. Which obviously mean I'd be closer south into the coast.
However, having wood is still a good thing, so that if your power goes out, you can still cook over an open fire.
But then it's like, all right, you get close to the coast, you get close to salt water, you get close. Like, where's the sweet spot? The safe, sweet spot.
Well, according to the way the government's pushing everybody, it's right in the middle of the United States. But unfortunately, that's not the case because that's where you have the biggest water droughts because that's where they're building all the chip plants and stuff like that. And
with that being said, I saw another video of a guy making water from air.
Which you can do.
So, for instance, the housing rental rates have surged by 8.2%, echoing the experiences of people that I know where rent has become increasingly unaffordable. And some people that I talked to here and there have told me that they have to vacate their homes due to the escalating rental costs, and prices overall seem exorbitant.
So I was watching a reel that somebody tagged me in on Instagram, and it was talking about how a lot of people say that the younger generations are lazy, right? They're lazy. They're not buying houses. They're not doing whatever else. But you have to think about just from 2018, 2019 till now, the median house price went from like $250,000 to $400,000. It's not that the younger generation is lazy. They're literally being priced out of being able to afford life.
A lot of them are super stressed and don't even understand what they're doing and why they're doing it because they don't see a future. Well, they can't see, like, everything looks bad.
Well, you also have to take into consideration, you have older generations going, well, you know, when I was your age, I owned a home and I had 3 kids and I had this, and this. Yeah, well, here's the problem. Past generations had the ability because there wasn't the price increase then versus now, and the income versus then versus now, they're not in relation to each other whatsoever. You have 4 times higher price increase now and your pay hasn't changed, where in the past you had, you know, a price increase but your pay also went with it. So you're not comparing apples to apples. You're comparing apples to pecans, like completely different thing, not even in the same scope.
Speaking of which, we gotta get my mom to those chocolate covered pecans
from Panama Jack.
Somebody said, are you reading a script or something? I've got notes here because I got a lot that I want to share.
You're nicer than me. When people goes, oh my God, you're reading a script, my first thought is, have you never watched the news? Like, they literally have to read a teleprompter.
Ron Burgundy will read anything you put on a teleprompter.
Do you expect him to literally remember every single bit of information? The answer is no. So
then you also,
nicely, don't be a dumbass.
But then the other thing is, people say, well, Kevin, you ramble and you don't get to the point. So I'm trying to do that.
You can't please everybody, and the ones who have an issue with any of it, they should really just leave the channel to begin with. That's me being nice, though.
Now, I got an example here where I purchased some Amazon Essential t-shirts for you.
You know what's weird?
Because you enjoy sleeping in these oversized shirts.
I do.
And just lounging in them when we're not planning on going out or before we get ready for the day.
I'm a bum. I'm not that cute housewife who runs around in like skimpy stuff. I'm like, I'll take sweatpants and a really baggy shirt and I'll just put my hair up in this bun and no makeup.
And I used to be able to buy these for under $10 back in 2021 with free 2-day shipping from Amazon Prime. And now today, those very same t-shirts cost almost twice as much, with regular price being $19.90.
They're comfortable, but dang, they're not that comfortable.
What were you gonna say is weird?
I was gonna say it's weird that I get all kinds of negative comments on my videos and I'm like, whatever. But I see one on yours and I literally am ready to like jump in a ring with somebody and spar. Like, it bothers me to no end when people say things to you and I'm like, are you serious right now? Like, how can you breathe
honestly,
with your head that far up your ass?
I can also see that it bothers other people because I don't always see the comments, but I'll see them because so many other people have replied to them.
Yeah.
Specifically Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah. She's our warrior.
And there's a few others that I can't remember right now.
Brenda's one of them also, and Maria.
And they'll respond and be like, they
respond nicer than I do.
They get me. But either way, this is like a 200% increase in just 2 years on these t-shirts. So it's truly amazing how prices have skyrocketed. And as a result, many of us are becoming more frugal. And I, for one, have limited my purchases to essentials and items required only for work, which I was actually telling my brother, my mic died. It's done.
So you're using mine today?
It's done.
I told you to buy a new one.
I did. I ordered one this morning.
Okay, good.
$20.
So you didn't get the same one?
I'm going back wired.
Ew. Ew, you basic.
I'm going to try it. I'm going to see what happens.
Then you're going to forget one day, you're going to be holding your phone, you're going to turn your head and just yank everything apart.
It's like the Gus Johnson skit where he walks out of his apartment with his headphones still plugged in.
Yeah.
But additionally, many people are opting to sell items that they no longer need, while others are turning to secondhand markets like eBay and Facebook to find more affordable options. Another concerning trend is the rising rate of theft, particularly in supermarkets and stores like Walmart and on the streets.
And your front porch.
There's videos of people attacking these robots that are food delivery robots, and they're attacking them on the streets.
Well, yeah, because they can't fight back. That's the easiest person thing to rob. Is something that can't stop you.
Products such as batteries, alcohol, and chewing gum are now prime targets for thieves, eyelashes, and other things. Retailers have even resorted to anti-theft measures like locking chewing gum in plastic boxes, and this heightened level of theft reflects the financial hardships that people are facing as a whole. But I don't see myself getting to a position where I'm going to go steal
bubble gum.
Yeah.
Unless you're 8.
Then you got to go back to the store.
And then your grandmother takes you back to the store and makes you get on the loudspeaker and apologize.
To the store.
Yeah. So drove all the way back from the house and everything. We'd made it all the way home.
Desperate times, desperate measures, right?
Yeah.
And the recent changes in consumer behavior are also evident. People are dining out less frequently and leaving significantly smaller tips at restaurants. Kayla told you. And she actually had to leave one of the restaurants because it just wasn't
mentally conducive for her.
Well, yeah, the owners are very mean and they yell at the employees.
Which I was not aware of.
And belittle them, but also the volume's not there.
It's not there. Once the tourist season dies down.
To work an 8-hour shift to make $20.
It's not worth it.
And I think the number was around 33% less compared to a few years ago from the last date survey that I read. And honestly, guys, I hope y'all don't mind me sharing this information with you. These are just some of the important news, headlines, and facts that we read pretty much daily. And I thought it'd be helpful to share them with you in a simple way, an easy way to watch or listen as a podcast style format so that you're able to be aware, made aware, and are able to keep up with all these important changes. That stay prepared. Like, I don't know how long this video is going to be. This one's going to probably be a little bit longer than the last few that I've uploaded. But essentially, if you have a commute, a ride, you're at the gym, you're washing dishes, doing chores, which people have said before, I'm listening to you while I'm cooking. This just allows you to stay connected, stay in tune. And my eyes just like won't stop watering.
Is it because you got sand in it?
I don't know. But if you guys prefer a different video style or different topics or anything, just let me know. Drop a comment. I want to get through this because we need to get back to the family. But the rising cost of meat also has led to a 30% increase in demand for vegan and vegetarian options. And consumers are increasingly sensitive to price hikes and are even opting for plain glasses of water instead of pricier beverages at restaurants.
Oh yeah, because those things went from like $1.50 with refills up to almost $4 at a lot of places.
But we went to lunch the other day, and the family's here, so we took them out to lunch. And vegan vegetarianism is not the answer.
No.
Mainly, you know, the nutrients and vitamins that you will lack by going that route, that you'll have to supplement, which is an added cost.
Yes.
But I was comparing. I said, you know what? I think I'm gonna get a salad. The salad was $16.
Yep.
I said, well, if I get this salad, I'm not gonna be full.
Nope.
The burger was $18. And it made sense not to be a vegetarian. It made sense not to be a vegan, and they know that. And if you are, they're going to raise the price on lettuce. Like,
oh yeah,
it's expensive.
It's expensive for somebody who went vegan for almost 3 years. I know exactly how expensive it is when you're trying to stay away from meat products. Now you go to the grocery store and you're like, man, this pack of chicken is $25. Yeah, but that pack of chicken will feed your family for a week. Whereas if you go and you're like, I'm only going to eat vegetables and grains and fruits and stuff, you have to buy 3 times as much to fill yourself and eat them faster because they do go bad. So you have to spend 3 times as much and buy 3 times as much, and it's not worth it in the long run. And then you will, after P.S. over 3 years, you will start to feel and notice physical
it's like
issues that you can experience if you're not eating meat, because you're not getting the B12 and the other vitamins that some of these fruits and vegetables do not
It's almost like you got to cycle on, cycle off. But I mean, to me, it seems like a clear sign of financial strain affecting everyday choices. And beyond a long list of growing economic concerns and consumer deterioration, Europe has faced severe flooding in various regions, including Austria. Excessive rainfall during the spring caused extensive damage to crops and infrastructure. And in contrast, the Mediterranean countries experienced wildfires due to drought and extreme heat, highlighting the extreme weather events occurring across the continent. It's truly shocking when you look at it and think about it. Property prices are also soaring, particularly in Vienna, where a 90 square meter flat can cost a staggering 750,000 euros. And now, to afford such properties, individuals would need a monthly income of around 5,000 euros, dedicating 70% of their earnings to mortgage payments over the next 30 years. And this just puts home ownership out of reach for so many. So this is a global issue.
I mean, you got to think, it used to be here that your income, 30% was supposed to go towards your home, and everything else was supposed to go the other way around. But I was doing the math even for us, and if we had a house here, we would have more than 30% of our income going towards it.
I don't even see how an underwriter can approve you for a mortgage if 70% of your income's going to it.
It doesn't make sense.
Additionally, rising interest rates combined with inflation are creating financial challenges for those who are already own property, because even with good incomes, unexpected events such as illness can lead to financial difficulties. And the economic situation in Europe, particularly in Germany, is grim, with a shrinking middle class and deindustrialization as prominent concerns. And a startling statistic indicates that 11% of Germans struggle to afford a proper meal every 2 days, echoing similar challenges in Austria, which is probably why I've seen so many videos coming out of European countries of people trying to get food out of dumpsters. but the stores aren't allowed to give them food that they throw away.
It makes me think of the movie Hunger Games, where Peeta sees Katniss out in the woods or whatever, and she's obviously hungry, and so he takes a loaf of bread that had been burned a little bit and tosses it out to where she can get it, but he still had to toss it out like he was feeding it to the animals. Like, so she still had to go pick it up from the mud area and eat it. But because you can't just hand it to somebody, because then it looks bad to your employer, your whatever else. You're just giving things away. You're taking away from their profit, but they're perfectly fine with you throwing something away at the end of the night, which has never made sense to me.
I have to relate Director Snow. Like, he would be the real life, like, Klaus Schwab.
Yeah, that's true. There's a new Hunger Games movie coming out, and I'm kind of irked about it, but hopefully it's good.
All the while, homelessness remains relatively low due to robust social safety nets. Financial stress is evident in people's dietary choices, with fast food becoming a more common option than healthy meals. And the pandemic has strained the medical system, obviously because of so much poor dietary choices, with healthcare workers experiencing burnout, medication shortages, and a need for greater domestic pharmaceutical production.
Now think about what you just said about when it came to your lettuce versus your burger, the price. It's not that people want to eat unhealthy, it's that that's what they can afford. I mean, you look at a thing of fries from Wendy's for 99 cents versus a side salad is like $5. You have not enough money for the healthy, you have to go the bad. So then, you know, you're overweight, you have health issues and whatever else, and people are like, well, it's because, you know, you eat trash. Well, I can only afford this because that's the way they've made it.
You know, you're right. You're right. And it doesn't take a university grad with a degree in macro or microeconomics to see what is actually happening. The economic situation in Europe is challenging, with soaring prices, changing consumer behavior, and climate-related disasters taking their toll. It's a trying time for many, and I hope to see signs of economic recovery in the near future, particularly with regard to energy prices, food, and affordable housing options. But what's the old saying? Wish in one hand and do
crap
what
in the other and see which one fills up faster.
Because listen to this. New details are being revealed about a billionaire's plan to build a city and take over Solano County, or Solano County. And the plan is called California Forever.
Is it Elon Musk? Because he already bought a town in Texas for his employees.
Led by a group of Silicon Valley billionaires who were previously anonymous and have since been revealed as the mystery buyers of land in Solano County for a new city development. This breaking news comes shortly after calls from California lawmakers for more transparency from the company responsible. So the group, operating under the name Flannery Associates LLC, recently launched a website outlining their plans to construct a new city in Solano County.
Is that the area that somebody bought all the stuff right next to the military base? Is that the area?
I think it is.
Because that makes sense, because the Flannery thing is, it sounds familiar. That's what you said, Flannery?
Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
So this move followed concerns raised by state and federal lawmakers regarding the lack of information about the land acquisitions. And during a hearing by the California State Senate's Agriculture Committee, the acquisition of 400 parcels of land over the past 5 years by an entity with undisclosed officers or investors was discussed. Flannery Associates had managed to keep their investors anonymous by registering in the state of Delaware, a state that does not require public disclosure of corporate officers. But U.S. Representative John Garamendi expressed concerns during the hearing, highlighting that Flannery Associates had finally revealed their plans to override local zoning regulations to build a large city east of Fairfield. And he also criticized the company's tactics, accusing them of using secrecy, intimidation, and legal maneuvers against local residents and farmers.
Well, here's the question. Flannery Associates billionaires, are they American billionaires?
We'll find out in just a moment.
Okay.
But this also sounds like what's happening in Maui.
Yes.
With these this push for non-permitted building construction, and essentially bypassing and using these tactics to maneuver and override local zoning.
And what's funny when you say that and bypass the permits and building, the person or the entity that holds the water in Lahaina is actually the builder there.
Huh.
That's why their subdivisions didn't burn down during the wildfires, because they have control of the water.
So it says that Brian Brokaw a spokesperson for Flannery Associates, did not directly respond to Garamendi's comments, but emphasized the company's commitment to working with the community and local leaders to create a shared vision for Solano County's future. Yeah. Solano's like the county, like they're essentially trying to buy the county
to turn it into whatever they want.
And they're going to work with leaders to share the vision. I mean, so it's only as long as you're rich and a wealthy billionaire with this vision will you be included in this vision.
I think that was redundant. Rich and wealthy billionaire.
But the U.S. Representative Mike Thompson, he didn't buy it and expressed frustration over the secrecy surrounding the group's plans, despite a meeting with one of their founders. And Thompson urged Flannery Associates to collaborate with local leaders and residents to try and attempt to regain their trust.
You know why there's probably secrecy? Because they were like, man, if we tell them our plan, there's going to be a random wildfire.
Flannery Associates revealed the website for California Forever, identifying it as the parent company of Flannery Associates, and the website listed prominent investors, including, here we go, Mark Andreessen, it's hard to say, Patrick and John Collison, Chris Dixon, John Doerr, Nat Friedman, Daniel Gross, Reed Hoffman, Michael Moritz, Lorraine Powell Jobs, and the investment firm Andreessen Horowitz.
Lorraine Powell Jobs? Like
These
Steve Jobs?
These don't sound like American names.
Well, Steve Jobs was, did he have a wife?
Yeah. Andreessen
Sounds Italian or something.
Horowitz. That doesn't sound American.
That one doesn't, but Steve Jobs' wife.
Andreessen. It's kind of hard
Lorraine
to say.
Powell Jobs, Steve Jobs' wife. I was wondering how, like, obviously the last name, and to be a billionaire, to be able to afford something like that, that makes sense. So she says Lorraine Powell was a new MBA student and sneaked to the front of the, I'm reading something completely off topic here. But she was who was married to Steve Jobs. What happened to Steve Jobs'
way
wife?
out of his league.
Since Jobs' death, Powell Jobs has been active in philanthropy and founded Emerson Collective in 2004 as a social change organization. She has served on the boards of several nonprofits, including Teach for America and Conservation International, and has made donations to members of the Democratic Party.
I thought that was hers.
No, that's her. Still very pretty.
They look like damn twins. Yeah. I guess that's
her daughter. So that makes sense.
But it says the company stated that their secrecy over the past 5 years was to prevent speculative land buying and confirm their intention to put their proposals for an eastern Solano County population center to a vote, although the specific timing was never mentioned. And any changes to Solano County's master plan, which restricts urban growth outside incorporated cities, would require approval from voters as per a 2008 amendment. Man, I don't know about you guys. I don't know what's worse right now. The social and civil unrest, the possible enforcement of new mandates and lockdowns, or the attack on our finances, or just these land grabs. You pulling something up?
Oh yeah, just, yep, so the $800 million land purchase near California's Travis Air Force Base. That is the same one.
It's crazy. Crazy. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know. If you guys, let me know if you're seeing the same thing or if you're seeing something different, depending on where you guys live, where you are in the country or around the world. And with your comments, just chime in and also include your city, state, county, territory, or province in your reply so we can kind of get a better idea of the overall shape that the world is in right now.
So I was said, what state had land purchased near military, trying to figure out exactly what it was. And it says the investment firm Flannery Associates has bought around $800 million worth of land around Travis Air Force Base in Northern California's Solano County, which is a midway between Sacramento and San Francisco.
There's more to it than trying to prevent speculative buying in the air.
Yeah, there's definitely something there.
I'm sure we're going to talk about this more in a future video. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you for watching and liking my videos. I really do appreciate it. And I do want to also welcome new members to the channel: David, Jeremy, Carol, Peggy, Lisa, Jitterbug. Welcome everyone to the channel, and future channel members, welcome. So happy to see you guys. And make sure that you check out all of the content available for the members, the perks, the videos, the posts. I'm uploading more daily, so stay tuned.